Rrq make it happen in a sweep and make it even more apparent that they are a force to be reckoned with. So looking at these lineups here, still TNC, like we said, is going to be rolling with the awareness of the jungle. This is a utility matchup now, and we were building up these junglers leading into this, and they've got the compositions, I feel like, to complement them. I'm only just hoping that, for Rrq anyway, they need enough time to make this lineup get online and be able to pop off later on.
Yeah. I really hope that Aurora are able to change the narrative of the Reyna's jungle. Right now, Edok with a mid-prio coming in. You can see the burst on TNC. That might have been a mistake. TNC, no movement ability. First blood to Rrq. And again, the narrative sticks. Nice to Uranus jungle.
Not so good. Well, so far. I mean, we gotta see. But that's the thing.
Lunar might be caught. Shield Unity. 2 early kills for Rrq.
Hey, I said they need a little bit more time, but when you have an early game like this, I guess, you know, you get 2 kills in your favor. Now you've already got this lead. Puts Aurora in a precarious position in the early game. We take a look at the emblems here. You can see building up, I think even so. You've got a whole lot of Impure Rages, of course. Also for this, the concussive blast on the choke does quite a bit of damage, and that's what we saw earlier on, which secured them that first kill over. Oh, Apex 47.
Makan-makan dia.
It's going to be a struggle. He also had to burn the flicker.
Yeah, this is why, I really like the mid trio for Rrq when they picked up the Eve. The Cho was a bit too early, but they managed to get the last 2 picks to fit their agenda here. mid-prio was almost certainly going to be Rrq almost every single time. Shield Unity coming down and down to Jikundo 2. Eye for 9 and Petrify used up, and it will just end up with a kill. Brave Spider by Tyron! Onto the turret! Oh, that burst! At least it'll be traded out with Rosa getting the kill, but a turtle has already been started by Rrq as Edok goes for the Jikundo, knocks TNZ up. Sutsujin coming in with a Shield Unity, and that's the RWM to lock him down. Edok with the Lancer Flare thrown back.
Oh no.
That's it. Oh, purple buffs take as well, I think.
Yeah, they're going to put pressure here. So tough. You see how that fight played out too. Looks like, yep, just going to lose the buff. Are they going to stall this out? I mean, so tanky.
No way.
Just gonna roll on out. Okay. Again, that fight was a perfect picture of exactly what this lineup can do. Even the fact that you're so tanky in a Baksha, you can just play into the real world manipulation around these objectives is the major advantage of this composition. Meanwhile, all this is happening and Toy is just free to farm up, do his thing, because you can rely on this rest of this composition to do its part. I was thinking it would take him a lot longer to get online, man, but they are already there. And now that you have a level 4 for Ito, he's going to be most likely going for those kicks, going into those plays. Sutsujin getting an advantage too. 2 kills already this early on. A 2-level advantage against TNZ is why we see him just taking what he wants.
Skippel able to secure a few of those kills. Edok tried to look for a pick there. And yeah, right now it's slow game for Rrq. This is like back to at least Sutsujin. Again, it's a lock Shield Unity. Edok takes a turret shot too. Poisson's in the mid lane. And the consecration by TNZ.
I'm just actually, you know, now that we see this, it's like, it can be the same thing for Aurora where Rose is so up front. Okay, Rose is fine. But that's the thing. They have to rely on this Granger later on. To an extent, too, Lunar is going to be a little bit different here now with the hands of the Benedetta. That could mess things up in team fights later, especially with the Petrify. Going for that backline, going for the Eve if she sets up, if he tries to set up the real world manipulation, but I just don't know if they want to do it now. The Turtle's going to be coming up here. They do have a hard guard they can rely on. There's a couple of tools now that Aurora Gaming has that they didn't have in the previous fights. So if they manage to make this work, they could turn this game slowly around here, but Rrq has control. They're going to start up the Turtle.
Yep.
They have all the space in the world. This is great positioning from them, too. I don't think there's any way Aurora Gaming gets this, as it's a Turtle in the free hands for Rrq.
Yeah, absolutely no chance they go for the contest here. They're 2 behind to go for it. And again, so far their frontline situation isn't really looking too good with the shred from Rins and the anti-regen from Sutsujin. He's going to go in with a Shield Unity, just zones him away as Toy picks up every single shot of that turret shield. Leaving a bit over, TNZ in the mid lane, Tyron pops into Brave Spider. will just clear out the mid lane as the Lance of Flare locks Edok down, but he has a Shunpu to escape. Again, a stun, and more poke.
Yeah, there's a whole lot. Both lineups are kind of like that in a sense. That's what I was expecting from RRQ, but even for RR Gaming, their lineup won't allow them to really just go into these fights, and they almost have to respond to what Edok does. A lot of times, again, when you have a Cho in play, you're just going for those kicks. There isn't essentially someone to do that from Aurora Gaming. Now, eventually, like I said, Lunar could play that part, but we see them trying to slow things down. They've already lost quite a bit of ground in the early game. You're talking about a 3K gold lead that was built up in the first 4 minutes or so.
Wow.
And so you've got to catch up here. You need time because you can see the disparity in the jungle alone. That 1.2K gold lead, but even more so, it's still that maintaining the 2-level lead against TNC. And that's a difficult spot in unfamiliar territory. Oh, kick.
Oh, good dash by Lunar. Darren pops in the Raven Spider, jumps in. Rosa with the flicker out, already used the Crimson Beacon earlier. So, there you go. Burnt resource.
Yeah, resources, sometimes that's the name of the game right now, especially in a slower paced game. Off to a great start for RRQ, but even for them, it's like they acknowledge the fact that Aurora Gaming has some of these tools now, like the hard guard, and like the fact that Lunar could go ahead and pressure them with a Petrify, that they have to kind of approach it in a different way. And if that kick isn't in the right direction, then there's no point in following it up. You maintain the lead you have, you continue to farm up. They should be able to get even this third turtle, I think, without much of a nuisance, but there's a Petrify.
Yeah, but it's used defensively, and Edok, he used away the dragon, but unfortunately it wasn't actually cancelled by the Petrify. It was cancelled, the animation, so there was no kick, but he still has it on. He still has it up.
He still has it available, so
This
this is a
mobil gak ada. Buset nih jaringan.
taking it. Looks like Aurora's gonna go for it.
RWM2, that's the block. Oh my lord, that damage! The sword and the blast from Rins. Oh, Rosa with the Crimson Beacon trying to read out the Jikudo Flicker combo, but Edok just walks up and Toy gets the kill with the SOD! Tier 1 in the mid lane falling. RRQ with a massive lead.
Massive lead, and then now it's RRQ looking clean as ever. Just like we saw from Aurora Gaming in Game 1, it's completely swinged over to RRQ. They are on time for everything. They're finding these windows. And I don't know.
Damage.
Edok was there. He did have the flicker, but not going to make that call to go forward. So Aurora Gaming finding themselves far behind already. It's just going to continue to balloon further. And I think this really is that game that's just solidifying the fact that, I mean, look at this Uranus. He's struggling.
Raven Spider by Dyron gets a stun as well. Now pops in the second part of the Raven Spider, but it's going to be the hard guard coming down. TNC looking for an angle, but I don't really think that's an angle you want to take, brother man.
Yeah, you don't want to commit to that, even with the hard guard burnt out. Again, I think you can start to seal. He's gonna go for Sigil.
Good reaction by Sigibu.
Good response. But you see what's happening here, man. It's like every single thing that RRQ does. Sometimes it's not even an ultimate or a flicker from themselves. They're getting these battle spells. They're getting these spaces to work with against Aurora Gaming, and it's really difficult. You're looking at just space taken. I mean, think about it. The tier 2 turret's about to go down mid lane.
The SOD landing too, but it'll just force out the Crimson Beacon out from Rosa. And RRQ are really just suffocating Aurora at this point. They have Aurora at a choke point. Like, they can't trade.
Astagfirullah, jaringan. Rrq nih bos.
Neither. The Uranus has been up top, but Dyron's been standing there like, hey, yeah, you can push the lane, but you can't get the turret.
Lapu is behind. Even to that gold lane, 3 items already locked in here. More toy. Yeah, just a whole lot. I don't know.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's why the healing's not really doing anything. Hey, man, Dominant's Eye, Sea Halberds. Going one. Baksha. and a Baksha.
Oh, man. And yeah, This sustained comp is... Oh, TNC walks up. Oh,
He's gonna go forward.
doing quite a bit of damage. Enoch with the way to Dragon now. Next hit as well. So Jin with the shield unity. Rosa jumping to the back line with the Crimson Beacon over to Rins now as Rins is able to dish out damage. A toy melting them down. The healing is non-existent from Aurora. They're you saw that shot?
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah, very close there, and that was just the reason of, hey, we have way more gold than you, we have way more items than you, we can take this fight. If maybe there wasn't a 7,000 gold differential here, maybe it would have been different, because this was a fight that, so, again, Aurora Gaming is in a position where we've seen teams be in before, fighting even on the turrets with an easy. TNZ is holding that Lord there. He's trying to like delay it as much as possible. He's gonna go ahead and work on it. You see Dyrant though. He's willing to take the 1v1. Walk down on bottom. Shield's gonna pop up top. We got the 1v1 here going around the Lord.
Yeah, ring around the rosy. TNZ just trying to buy time. He knows there's no way he wins this 1v1. He can just try to delay. Hard guard coming down as well. TNZ gets away, kind of a non-lane there. But what this does is Rrq have another way to push in. Like the Lord wasn't really dealt with. I think not even half HP.
Yeah.
So it just ends up being a slow push for Rrq to get more. Oh my god, this is done. Guys, they're just fighting forever. Oh my god, battle it out. RWM to the back, Lunar pops in. Eye for an eye. Enoch goes in with the way Dragon still. Second part of it, Toy piercing through the turret over to Sigibu, who has to respect this. The Void Blast coming down. It's still a battle on the bottom lane as Toy gets a base turret. And finally, after what seems to be 9 years, the Lord gets to the vicinity of the... TNT's still running. We're just keeping him. Oh my god, this
is his job.
Hey, there you go. Hey, I'm here in your base now, man. Enoch doesn't even want to kick, right? He's just like, all right, you can die. There you go.
This is where you say takes 3. Takes 3.
Oh my.
The shields. Down 10,000 gold. I think just, again, that accomplished for Aurora Gaming. You know, maybe bought them a little bit of time, but they're so massively behind that, and this is the full force of RrQ.
Oh,
There's RWM.
yeah, Rosa forced to use a Crimson Beacon, and that should mean that it's going to be a free turret. Look at the piercing damage again through the turrets to Rosa and Apex. 2 base turrets in the sides. 30 seconds for the neutral objective spawn. Lunar, before he can even swing his sword, gets blasted down by Rins.
Yeah, this is so tough to see for Aurora Gaming just because they don't really have much positioning. Rosa picking up a brute force. Trying to survive a little bit more here. Yeah, Twilight armor though for Susujin. This is a complete outclass for game 2, at least in this one. It's just completely in RRQ's favor, and Aurora Gaming, I feel like they're almost in that position where it's like, we're a little desperate. We want to go ahead and maybe take these fights, maybe force it, because it's getting to that point where it's just so one-sided for them. We're in trouble.
Eye for an eye coming down, but Petrify and the final slash, or sorry, the final blow.
Oh no.
Shots over to TNT. At least he's getting tanky, but Enoch walks up to Jiku. No, that's a flicker off for Sigibu, but the way of the Dragon locks him down, and the RWM forces Sigiboom to just take the shot from Sutsujin. The base wide open. Rrq will crack it up as Dyrant pops in the Bravest Fighter. They'll take a bit longer here as they're actually out of minions.
They don't have minions. It's a little bit of health left. That wave's gonna be pushing up top.
That's Jiku no, the flicker into Rosa. A kill back at least. Aurora making 2 on the board. But RrQ send the question back to Aurora. Maybe they'll go Uranus jungle.
Maybe you don't. I think a lot of teams are gonna be able to see that what's happened here with Uranus jungle, and it's not working out. A dominant